where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these four boys dream of playing in the ISSA schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
Hurricane Melissa has left a trail of destruction behind. We now need the help of everyone to put our lives and livelihoods back together. Join us live on Sunday, November 23 at 1 p.m. for I Love Jamaica Telethon and virtual concert, and make your donation. Some of Jamaica's leading artists and personalities come together to appeal for donations to the Hurricane Melissa Recovery Fund. And your favorite artist or personality will be there, not just to entertain you, but to also answer the phones. Make sure to call and make your donation. 888-LOVE-JAM or 888-568-3526. I Love Jamaica Telethon and virtual concert, Sunday, November 23, 1 p.m. live right here on CBM TV. Help us to build back Jamaica stronger.
I want to represent the citizens of Jamaica. Jamaica love.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CBM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
This special broadcast is brought to you by Quartz and JustBet. Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these four boys dream of playing in the ISSA schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
This special broadcast is brought to you by Quartz and JustBet.
And welcome to Lead Story Prime. I'm Giovanni Dennis. Now we're still coming to you from the Manning School in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland. We're in the capital of Westmoreland, and if you can just take a look behind me, you can see we have throngs, scores of supporters here watching our big screen, taking in the Reggae Boys as they face top of the table Curacao. Currently at the National Stadium, we have scores of people here at the Manning School. Now, of course, we will be speaking to some of them throughout the program here. We'll be speaking to business sector leaders, continuing to speak as well to political representatives right here on this special edition of Lead Story Prime. Now, if you are looking at your screen, we're also sharing with you some of the images that we saw throughout Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth and Manchester today. At the moment, you should be looking at a beautiful sunset that we saw earlier coming in to Westmoreland, and then we will now take you from Westmoreland to a nice shot of our team in Sam Sharp Square, Montego Bay. We also have a watch party there where Jamaicans in St. James can go out and take a look at the Reggae Boys taking on Curacao in this top of the table clash. Now, first though, let's go to this vox pop that our team did outside the National Stadium in terms of what Jamaicans are expecting from the Reggae Boys tonight.
Nothing but a win. We don't have a choice more than just to win the match. And to me, this team is punching above their weight. I don't think they're better than Trinidad. They're not better than us. I think they're just getting the result, and that is what matters. So tonight we have to stop them their track. If we cannot win on our home ground, that means we are not supposed to be in the World Cup. And we just need a win at home. We could want a better opportunity more than this to win.
2-0.
2-0. Who are your goal scorers?
Shamar Nicholson and Damian Lowe. I would tell them that they got this.
Well, definitely I'm anticipating a really good game. A hard-fought game, you know. We are here to win, definitely. So that's the aim and that's the dream.
Score prediction?
I'd say 2-1. Jamaica. Scorers, Bowes and Kaib.
Bowes and Kaib?
No.
Well, if at the start of the campaign you asked any reggae boy what scenario you'd want to qualify for the World Cup, they would choose to win a game at home. So I think it's in our hands. The stadium is jam-packed, and I expect us to go out there, especially with the use of the 12th man, which is the 35,000 people in the stadium, to push the team across the line. It doesn't matter what the scoreline is. What is important is that we come out on top. It doesn't even have to be a pretty win. We just need to win. Sometimes in these games, we just need to fight and crawl across the line and then worry about all of the other pretty stuff after. But I think we can win a 2-0. I would not say 1-0 because at 1-0 going into the 85th minute, that's gonna be nerve-wracking. So I think we need some push on going into the game. So I say maybe a 2-0 or a 2-1 to Jamaica.
My prediction is 2-0 for Curacao. Yeah,
just like last
that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is a draw. 1-1 draw.
And what would this mean
your first time qualifying for the World Cup. What would this mean to your nation? Firstly, it means a lot for the soccer. Secondly, it means a lot for the sport. And thirdly, most importantly, it means a lot for us as a nation, because we will believe more in ourselves and our ability, not just on the field of soccer, but in other areas. And if we do so, using our full potential, we will be the most developed country in our size.
Jamaican fans outside the National Stadium earlier today. We take our first break here on Lead Story Prime. Stay with us. When we come back, we hear from the councillor of the South Lamar Division, Julian Chang. This is Lead Story Prime coming to you from the Manning School in South Lamar, Westmoreland.
Fans, get off the sidelines and join the action with Just Bet. Bet on your favorite teams anywhere online at www.supremegames.com or visit one of our 100 locations island-wide. With enough games and the best odds, you can win big with Just Bet. Be a part of the game. Feel the thrill of winning. Join the action with Just Bet. Must be 18 years old or to bet. Game responsibly.
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these four boys dream of playing in the ISSA schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CBM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
So it's still 0-0. Both Jamaica and the Reggae Boys locked at 0-0 at the National Stadium right now. Of course, Jamaica needs to win. The Reggae Boys must win this game to qualify for the World Cup finals in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The World Cup is being jointly held in those three countries in 2026. Shifting gears a little bit right now as we invite the councillor for the South Lamar Division, Julian Chang, here on Lead Story Prime. First of all, Ms. Chang, what's your prediction for the game tonight?
1-0.
1-0 in favor of who?
Jamaica.
1-0 in favor of Jamaica. Are you a big football fan?
My husband is not.
Your husband is a fan. I like the honesty. I'm just going to ask you to just turn a little bit more so our viewers can actually see you as we have this conversation. I did see a video with you on social media distributing care packages / food items as well. What have you been doing since Hurricane Melissa for your people in your division?
Wow, there's so much. We have distributed a number of food packages, and we have also installed generators in some of the communities, in the community centers and the shelters as well. We have also been distributing approximately 1,000 meals per day. We do 500 for lunch and 500 for dinner within the South Staff Division.
And who are you partnering with to deliver those 5,000 meals? Because that has to be costly.
Absolutely. World Central Kitchen and Mercy Kitchen. And I really want to say thank you. The residents are really enjoying it.
We have been speaking with residents of Westmoreland, and the stories seem very much the same right across the communities, right across the divisions, right across the constituencies. Melissa, though, didn't know constituency or division or parish. She just came through and she battered our island. In terms of the most vulnerable persons, we're seeing persons still without homes, people taking turns on beds, what to get naps and getting their sleep at night. What, if anything, from your perspective, is being done about that in terms of people within your division who have been displaced by Melissa?
Well, to be honest with you, first of all, I just want to thank the donors who have come forward to assist me, because I get very little help from the central Westmoreland government per se. But I've had donors that have telephoned me, and I've had persons that will be assisting with housing. So we will be building houses across the division.
I just have to follow up on that a little bit right there. So you get very little help from central Westmoreland government. What do you mean by that? What does that translate to?
It translates to the Member of Parliament. I have not been getting any assistance from him, but there are quite a few donors who have reached out to me, and they are assisting me in the process.
In terms of a way forward, though, because certainly it would be good if the councillor for the division and the Member of Parliament could iron things out in the interest of the people. Do you see any possibility of a reconciliation here? And then just to bring our viewers up to speed, Julian Chang, the councillor for the Savlamar division, and the Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, Dwayne Vaz, there seem to have been some differences, to put it mildly, and we did see a protest recently where you were removed as a chairman or chairperson for the division. But in the interest of the constituency, though, certainly it would be in the best interest of persons who are affected that their political representatives can work together to kind of bring the solutions for them.
I'm trying, and we must do this for the people of Savlamar. We must do this for the people of Central Westmoreland, and we must do this for the people of Jamaica. Right? I am willing to, mend fences, and I'm trying, and I hope it will work.
What's next on the agenda for you in terms of the continuing support? Because yes, you've been providing the meals, but of course, that really, as we say in Jamaica, is a drop in the bucket. Yeah, I mean, a meal per day, people don't have roof over their heads, for example. Next steps?
I have really reached out to the wider Jamaica, the US, and Canada, and I've had donors who have told me that they're going to be making giving us some assistance down here. And by the end of this week, we should start building some homes for the people here.
How many homes are you looking to construct?
I'm starting with 7, and I know it's a start, and I know I will go further, and I will get more help.
I'm certain you'd have been hearing from the constituents as well. You're starting with 7. In terms of the need on the ground right now within your division specifically, what is the need? Because certainly 7, as I mentioned, is just a start. What's the numbers like in terms of people who will need their homes rebuilt, or a home, for example?
90% of the people that live in Savlamar live in board houses. So you can just imagine what has taken place. The other 10%, I would say 5% of the 10% remaining, the roofs are gone. So we have had 90% of persons that have really lost their homes.
And in terms of an actual number, what's the number of persons in the division, for example?
That have lost their homes? Yeah. We're looking at maybe about 5,000 to 6,000. It's a really great figure.
So that's over 4,500 people in your division alone who need their homes rebuilt.
Yes. Some partially rebuilt, some are totally gone. One of my recollection is seeing a woman. She takes an old fridge, she puts a piece of ply, we gave her a canvas and she put it over it, and that was where she was sleeping. I found out that she was ill, and I also have doctors from the US who come in to volunteer within the division. Took a doctor there, and she was ill. She had rats crawling over her. This is not good.
In terms of reaching out then to the central government, the Prime Minister, the different agencies, is there any discussions taking place to that end to help some of the persons in your division?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Have you reached out?
I have made several calls and have tried to send several texts, and I'm still waiting on some responses.
Which department, agency, or member of the government specifically have you reached out to?
I'm not sure what to
say. In a few seconds, I mean, we are almost out of time here. What needs to happen next for the over 4,500 people in your division are currently without a home?
we need the agencies to come in, the government agencies. We're waiting on OPPEM. We're waiting on the government. We're waiting on the ministers. Just as much as Eastern Westmoreland has gotten so much attention, Central Westmoreland needs their attention right now.
And that hasn't been forthcoming so far?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, thank you so much, Julian Chang, the councillor for the Savlamar division here in Westmoreland. Over 4,500 people without homes. 90% of the people here significantly affected by Hurricane Melissa. That's a very somber note on which to go to this other report then, with more Jamaicans speaking about the football game tonight and what they are hoping for in terms of a performance from the Reggae Boys. Of course, the game is still 0-0. Both the Reggae Boys and Curacao are playing right now at the National Stadium. It's a top of the table clash that the Reggae Boys must win to qualify for the World Cup finals next year. But we did speak with fans in Manchester, fans in St. Elizabeth, and also fans in Westmoreland. Some of them were nostalgic about 1998 as they look forward to tonight. So we're currently at the end of the Hurricane Melissa ravaged St. Elizabeth, here at the border with Westmoreland. The Reggae Boys too are at the end of the road in the World Cup qualifiers. They too are at the border, at the cusp of making it over into World Cup qualification. It would only be the second berth for the Reggae Boys at the FIFA World Cup. And if they were to be successful, people in Jamaica would be extremely happy. Already, fans are telling me they're feeling nostalgic, remembering 1998, the first time when Jamaica qualified.
1998, in the middle of the day, the sun hot, that Sunday when Renee Simoes asked for that game to be played in the sun hot when we drove 1 hour with Mexico.
Was it 0-0?
I don't remember, but we drove with Mexico.
What was the feeling like being there 98 when Jamaica qualified for the World Cup?
A euphoria. On top of the world. Jamaica going to the World Cup for the first time. And we're going to go the second time. I'm very confident about we winning tonight.
I mean, the country was united. We were united as a country. It was ecstatic when we qualified. I think all of us forgot about our problems, and we were just happy. Yeah. Extremely happy as a country.
Ms. Franklin, do you remember where you were in 1998 when Jamaica first qualified for the World Cup?
Well, I mean, celebrate and thing, you know. I'm glad to know so they reach. I'm glad to see them go reach there again. Yeah. And we'll want to see them reach there.
You remember the feeling in 98 when them win?
Yes, so then they go Hampton and we get holiday.
Okay, they want holiday again if they win tonight?
Yes.
So, not such a good pick there from me, but Jamaicans I've been speaking with, fans I've been speaking with in Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and here in Westmoreland are excited about the possibilities should the Reggae Boys win tonight.
Yo, that would be great, man, even though we are going through that great disaster. That would be great. I know, one Jamaica we say now. Team Jamaica.
I'm from Westmoreland. I live in Savlamar, but I born and grew up in Townhead, Burn Savannah. And we were hit very, very hard. A lot of damages. The spirits of the citizens are very, very low. And winning that game tonight, qualifying for the World Cup, will definitely lift the spirits of the people. They will definitely feel much better, even just knowing that we are going to the World Cup. There's something to look forward to. And that resilience, along with winning the game tonight, going on to the World Cup, is only make the country be much better, especially Western Jamaica, knowing what all we're going through right now.
Well, if they win and get there, you know, it help cheer up in what happened to we are right now, you know. Because myself, we feel good, take some of my problem off of my mind, you know.
How much you think that can lift the country if they win?
Yeah, oh, God, man. You can bring country good, man. And the country rejoice, you know.
Go ahead, cheer you up.
You know, cheer you up, you know.
Well, I feel great and feel nice, you know, so the country reach a World Cup. I know, say yes, you reach already, but we know, say reach now at World Cup. Yeah. Second time.
Now, it's not just Jamaicans locally who are excited about the game tonight. I've been speaking with Damian Gordon, a Jamaican sports journalist currently in Maine in the United States, and he's been speaking with Jamaicans over that country to get their reactions.
As for the Jamaicans in the diaspora, I can tell you I've been talking to the small but growing population here in Maine, and they're very excited about the prospect of being in the stadium and possibly seeing Jamaica play Brazil or Argentina, Lionel Messi, or one Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal. The last time we checked, though, tickets were going at, minimum of $1,400 a pop. But I can tell you that if the Reggae Boys were able to pull off that mission against the Curacao, that kind of figure will not stand between the Jamaican diaspora and the Reggae Boys, seeing them in real life at the World Cup.
And so, for Damian Gordon and other Jamaican fans, the mission tonight is clear.
I think the team's job tonight is twofold, really. I remember back in 1998 when the team qualified for the World Cup, there was such a feel-good factor right across the country, and post that we saw an 11% drop in criminal activities right across the country, mainly the crime rate. And I think that gave the country a sense of pride and a feel-good factor that really blanketed the island. This time around, there is a feeling of hopelessness among those in the West, even as people reach out post-Melissa. And so tonight, the boys, their job is to restore confidence in Jamaica's football, but also give the people of the country, the nearly 3 million folks, some hope that they can dream. And even in a moment of despair, that there's always some light at the end of the tunnel and there's something to cheer about.
I wish them all the best and go. I wish them love.
Do your best and make Jamaica proud.
We are a much better team. Just be calm, compose. You have the 12th man there, which is that bumper crowd, that overpacked National Stadium, and definitely take it home for not just Jamaica now, but even especially for Western Jamaica.
So we just before we go to our first break, two glorious chances. The match currently in minute 21. Jamaica had two glorious chances to score just now, and of course the audience here, as you can imagine, when Jamaicans are excited, were shouting out "Goal!" But it was not to be. We take our second break here on Lead Story Prime. When we come back, we'll be hearing from some fans of the, about now hundreds of supporters, I can say, who have turned out here at the Manning School to watch the game on our big screen. When we come back, we'll hear from some of them in our live audience here at the Manning School. This is Lead Story Prime. I'm Giovanni Dennis. We'll be right back.
Quartz Optical, Lucky Doll and Ashley Furniture Home Store, we understand that recovering from Hurricane Melissa takes time, but together we can rebuild stronger. If you've made a credit purchase recently at Quartz Optical, Lucky Doll or Ashley and were impacted by the storm, your payments may be protected. We're ready to support you, so message us today via WhatsApp at 876-550-2180 and let's talk about how we can help. Conditions apply. Quartz Optical, Lucky Doll and Ashley, supporting you when it matters most.
Every day starts with care. Care that's always close. Supermed Family of Pharmacies is where you go for everything you need. From your morning routine to life's biggest moments. Supermed Family of Pharmacies is always by your side. Whether it's prescriptions or household essentials, trust the care that's close to home. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these four boys dream of playing in the ISSA schoolboy football competitions.
Will you score this for Casey? Will you score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
Start your journey with a Jane Bank Small Business Loan, with small business loans with as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million.
The time is 8.
In the first half, match is still locked at 0-0 in minute 23 right now. Very intense. The Jamaican fans are very happy. Joining me now, two of our Jamaican fans, Sean and Philip. Gentlemen, how are you enjoying the match so far?
So the match are going good though. It's a good match. I think Jamaica play a little bit too much of a high line. But 50-50. I mean, I really like that because I want Jamaica to dominate. But we get two good chances, so hopefully them can carry it to them.
I still want to ask another question, but I want to get from you, Philip, your expectations of the game tonight. I'm just going to invite you to a little bit so that my viewers can see you. Your expectations of the game tonight.
Well, we're hoping for a win, at least a 3-0. It brings back memories from 1998 when I was in the stadium watching Jamaica versus Mexico, and I had to go abroad and watch Jamaica in the World Cup.
So you went to France in 98?
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
I watched Jamaica versus Japan, where Theodore Topper Whitmore tapped in 2 and we won 2-1. It was such a lovely feeling. I can't express it anymore. I want to see it now so we can live it again in the US and Mexico and Canada for this coming World Cup.
I can hear the emotions in your voice as you speak. You're a very patriotic Jamaican. Obviously, you're wearing your thumb with the Jamaica sign right there. Lovely. What was it like being in the stadium? Because that match was played in the day in 98. Ronnie Samoa requested that match to be played in the day. Take us back.
It was so hot. I remember the stadium was packed. People were climbing over. So, and when it was finished, it was like a pandemonium. It was like a total roadblock in Kingston. The day after, the PM had to give a national holiday.
If Jamaica qualifies tonight, I think tomorrow should be a national holiday?
Yes, sir, definitely. After this, what we have been through, this catastrophe, we need some rest and relaxation to revive ourselves to come back.
All right. Thank you so much, Philip, and as well, Sean. What are your final predictions for tonight? What are you predicting?
I feel like it's a 2-1. Honestly. As curious as I get chance, I feel like it's a 2-1.
Okay. So, Sean predicting 2-1, Philip predicting 3-0. 3-0 from Philip, 2-1 from Sean. We're holding you to your word. The person who gets it correct will get a prize from CVM TV. We just want to get as well, of course, for balance, to hear from some of our female supporters here, as I'm going to just invite some of them on screen right now to share with us their thoughts on the game so far. Good evening and thank you so much. What's your name?
My name is Dion Borrell. Dion Borrell.
Dion Borrell. And you?
I am Tonya Cameron.
Tonya and Hammond, Dion Borrell. Dion, Tony and Cameron. Forgive me, of course, the place is very noisy, so I can't hear so well. What are you predicting for the match tonight?
So for tonight, I want to see Jamaica score 2-1. We have been suffering for 28 years, and this year we want to see the World Cup. Whisper, I want to see us score a goal tonight for Jamaica.
For you, what are you predicting?
I'm predicting 2-1 Jamaica 2, Curacao 1. Since 1998, we haven't been to the World Cup. Therefore, I'm hoping for a win tonight.
Were you around in 1998?
No, I wasn't.
What's the energy and the atmosphere here like so far with this viewing here at Mannings for you?
Well, everybody is so excited. I am so excited, and I'm waiting for that score. I hope that we win.
And for you, what's the energy like? What's the energy been like here so far tonight?
So far, I like the family vibe that I'm getting from everyone. We come out tonight, no electricity, but thanks to CVM and the others, we are here tonight. We are watching the game, we are pumped up, and we are very excited. We are out to support Jamaica.
Shifting gears a little bit, you mentioned the lack of security in and around Savlamar and several parts of Westmoreland. What has it been like for you personally since Hurricane Melissa?
For me personally, it has been very devastating. We're without electricity, without water, and Melissa in itself, it was very catastrophic. A lot of homes were lost, lives were lost, and we have been dealing with that for a couple of weeks now, and we're just trying to pick up the pieces. But as Jamaicans, we are very resilient, and I know that we will build back.
And for you, what has it been like personally? What was Melissa like for you?
Well, I've lost electricity, there's no water, but as she said, we are resilient, so we will come out stronger. We just have to work with what we have for now.
And in terms of how your family and friends were affected?
Well, my family is okay. They weren't as badly affected as we are here in Westmoreland.
And finally, both of you are predicting 2-1 tonight? Okay, so if you turn on, we're going to get a prize from CVM, alright? Alright, thank you both so much. I won't keep you from the game. I know you want to watch the game and enjoy what's happening. So thanks for your time with us here on Lead Story Prime. We are now just going to invite to join us here on Lead Story Prime the chairman of the Manning School, Moses Chaibar. He's also the president of the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Chaibar, firstly, what do you make of the turnout here at Manning's despite the situation that we find ourselves in?
I think the turnout is quite good, and I think what you have done here is a very good thing for the community.
Manning School, I was speaking earlier with the vice principal, Mrs. Kerr, and she was saying just how wide scale the devastation is in terms of rebuilding from the damage and the destruction to parts of the property here at Manning's. What's the plan?
Well, as you would have said, and you'd have seen, the damage is quite extensive, and it's a lot of rebuilding that has to be done. What we are doing now, assessments are being done now. National Education Trust would have sent a representative down, and they have been doing assessments. Contractor has been on site too. So right now, I think it's just a matter of the estimates to be submitted by the contractor to NET, and then work will commence. We've been given assurance by the ministry through NET that they will be working hard to get the school into a state where classes can take place as quickly as possible.
Shifting gears a little bit now, because you wear two hats here tonight, not just the chairman for the Manning School, you're also the president of the Chamber of Commerce. It almost seems a dumb question to ask, how have businesses been affected, but how is the rebuild process so far? Firstly, actually, just in terms of the damage to the business sector in Westmoreland, what percentage of the businesses were affected firstly?
Well, I think just about every business would have been impacted in some way, shape or form. Some would have been really, really bad and some minor, in some minor ways. But in Westmoreland, as any part of Jamaica, we have the very small, the micro enterprises. We have the small businesses, medium and large. And as it stands now, everyone would have been impacted. In terms of rebuilding, persons have been trying to do repairs to their roof and the areas that were impacted. And in some cases, nothing at all has been done yet because they are still in the cleaning up process. So it's going to be a long journey, and persons are still trying. Some persons are trying to figure out where to start because the damage has been so much. And for many persons, they would have totally lost everything that they have as a business. And this is largely seen in the very, very small businesses because the base of the economy in Westmoreland is really surrounded around those very small businesses. The little guy with 100 chicken, whether for eating purposes or for layers, for eggs, etc. And many of those persons would have lost everything. So when we experience something like that, it creates a sense of hopelessness on the ground. And so one of the first areas we would like to see the rebuilding start is with those very persons, those very small businesses, to see them start rebuilding and starting back something to get the business off the ground again.
I do have a couple more questions for you before I have to let you go, Mr. Chai, but just to remind our viewers, in case you're just joining us, CVM TV are also live at the moment doing a broadcasting, a viewing at the Sam Sharp Square in Montego Bay. So if you are in Sam Sharp Square, if you are anywhere in Montego Bay right now and you want to catch the Reggae Boys versus Curacao, you can't make it to the National Stadium right now, more than halfway across the country, you can join our team in Sam Sharp Square for viewing similar to this one here at Manning's taking place at Sam Sharp Square. Now, just to update our viewers, the game currently in minute 34, both teams still locked at 0-0. top of the table clash. Jamaica has to win. The Reggae Boys must win, even by a solitary goal to nil, to make it to the World Cup finals in the United States, Canada, and Mexico next year. Now, of course, if they don't win, they will get the chance to go to another playoff early in March next year. The Prime Minister has said, coming back now to Moses Chaibar, the President of the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce, the Prime Minister has said that for us to build back stronger, businesses need to reopen. We need to get the economy going. Well, listening to you saying that there are some people who would have had everything destroyed for them, how do they pick up the pieces, and from where do they even start?
Well, this is where leadership comes in, and I would say to the persons who would have lost, whether everything or just part of the business, first and foremost, each of us must start looking at what we personally can do. What's the first step we can take, and take that step. Of course, we would have heard from the Prime Minister and government agencies that some amount of help will be offered, and I know several surveys are being done now just to do an assessment as to the full extent of the damage amongst people. And persons need to pay attention to what's coming out there in terms of channels through which assistance can be accessed, and whenever that happens, to be present themselves so that they can be in the runnings to get some assistance. But we have seen where in the community persons are coming together and trying to support one another, which is really a very good start. But persons really need that external support from government, from private sector, from even charitable organizations who can provide some level of support. And through the chamber, we have been doing our best to gather the information, to send it into the Ministry of Industry and Commerce so that they too can have a good idea as to what obtains on the ground here, and to see what kind of assistance that they could offer. Our first order right now is food security. How can we get persons in agriculture, livestock, and those areas up and running again? Because if we don't do that, then certainly we will be forced to import too much. And not only is importation not the best thing for us, but the persons whose livelihood depend on these things need to get started again.
Moses Chaibar, President of the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much for speaking to us here on Lead Story Prime. We certainly appreciate it, and of course we'll be watching as the rebuild takes place. We take our final break here on Lead Story Prime. Stay with us, we'll be right back. We're coming to you from the Manning School in Savlamar, Westmoreland.
Quartz Optical, Lucky Doll and Ashley Furniture Home Store, we understand that recovering from Hurricane Melissa takes time, but together we can rebuild stronger. If you've made a credit purchase recently at Quartz Optical, Lucky Doll or Ashley and were impacted by the storm, your payments may be protected. We're ready to support you, so message us today via WhatsApp at 876-550-2180 and let's talk about how we can help. Conditions apply. Quartz Optical, Lucky Doll and Ashley, supporting you when it matters most.
Every day starts with care. Care that's always close. Supermed Family of Pharmacies is where you go for everything you need. From your morning routine to life's biggest moments, Supermed Family of Pharmacies is always by your side. Whether it's prescriptions or household essentials, trust the care that's close to home. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
Sports fans, get off the sidelines and join the action with Just Bet. Bet on your favorite teams anywhere online at www.supremegames.com or visit one of our 100 locations island-wide. With enough games and the best odds, you can win big with Just Bet. Be a part of the game. Feel the thrill of winning. Join the action with Just Bet. Must be 18 years old or to bet. Game responsibly.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Protecting Jamaica's borders is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
8:45.
So welcome back to Lead Story Prime. I'm Giovanni Dennis. We're coming to you live from the Manning School in South Lamar, Westmoreland. Of course, CVM TV has a viewing of the top of the table clash in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers between Jamaica's Reggae Boys and Curacao. Curacao, of course, at the top of the table, so a draw would be good enough for them to qualify to the World Cup finals next year in the United States, Mexico and Canada. Jamaica must win to secure their berth right now. Now, even if Jamaica loses or draws the game tonight and Curacao qualifies right now, Jamaica will still make it to a playoff in March next year, and hopefully they will do the job and complete the job then. But the fans here, who you can see behind me, are very quiet at the moment. They're tense. They want to see the winner. The crowd size here has grown tremendously. What you're seeing in the shot right now is just a snapshot. People are sitting on the grass, sitting on chairs, eating their food, drinking, collecting stuff from the CVM team here, handing out refreshments and care package. So they are very tense. They want to see a goal score so that they can celebrate, and of course a goal by Jamaica. We will be speaking with some more fans here right now. We have two on standby, but before we go to them, another very important issue that we are monitoring: the underground water in Content, Manchester, has been rising significantly for the past 2 weeks, and CVM's Amoy Harriet did an exclusive report from the Content area in Manchester earlier today. Let's go to that report.
A community underwater. The reality in Content, Manchester this evening as groundwater continues to rise. While in the area, our news team met Kerry-Ann and Dave Lee, their siblings who grew up in the community. Kerry-Ann recalls being home during the 1970s when Content flooded like this for the first time.
This particular area, Content, has flooded 3 times. The first time it happened, most of the people here can't swim because we don't have water here. So when it started, Alcan had boats. So my dad got the boats. Nobody would get in the boats with him. So he had to tie them together. But he rescued, I think it's about 30, 40.
The people
No, the boats.
Oh, the boats.
Because nobody would get to steer an extra boat. So to get to the people, Dad said to them, he was over the mines here. So he said to them, if it ever come again like that, you have to watch it and everybody have to leave. So what people must realize is this: it flood like this and nobody drowned, because the people learn.
So what do you think needs to happen going forward? I think it's a case of people just shouldn't be living in this area anymore.
This is a riverbed, but it's been an old riverbed. And over Kirkbrand on the other side here, across from the pickup factory, you guys see the water coming up over there? I've been here looking at it, and it's about 8 feet. It's rising every day, but it's also getting bigger.
So do you think it's a case where persons may have to completely migrate from this area?
Well, I am really thinking that for the vast amount of what we're looking at here, even where we're standing here, I don't think that in a couple weeks or a week you will be able to come and stand here. It's coming up fast, but when will it begin to recede? Because we're watching and we're looking like we don't see anything receding.
So are you concerned that there's a possibility that this water will continue to rise?
It's not a matter of concern. It's a matter of just plain sight. The whole way it coming from cannot cock. Years the whole they try. I can dump things. My father worked there for years. They try full that hole for years. It cannot full. So the water coming up through there is unimaginable. If the water don't stop, the whole place will come under water. The whole place will flood. It's not going to be inhabitable for humans. They don't know of these things. It's not public knowledge that there is 7 riverheads, and the advantage that the mining company used to utilize the space is not common knowledge. But after a while, community members were there, they acquired the knowledge and know that they have developed themselves in a community that is not as safe as they might think. And today, they are sure of that. But then we are going to have to be one Jamaica now. No red, no green, no Christian, no Jerry Curl, no men, no guys, no nothing. Jamaicans are with us now. We have to live together. As one people, if we change anything, we are going to happen right.
In the meantime, Councillor for the Waterston Division, David Knight, says he's concerned about what he describes as inadequate attention from the authorities.
I think little or nothing is being done here because of the hurricane. All the attention is being placed now in the west, and so persons are not even aware of what is happening here. And so I think some attention must be given to persons here, even brief counseling or to see a house go underwater. I mean, it's not an easy thing. And so I think at least the authorities should come in and at least have a talk with these people.
Residents and visitors to the area in the meantime are being urged not to touch or consume the water.
I've seen the Ministry of Health on the ground handing out pamphlets as to educate the people as to what, because this water is not clean. It is not clean, and we are begging persons to stay away from it. It is not clean. And so the Ministry of Health is on the ground educating persons as to the danger of this water.
So you're saying even though, because I've seen video, I haven't seen it as yet, but I've seen videos for myself and pretty blue water, you're saying that it's not clean
It's
whatsoever.
not clean. It's not clean. Because the Ministry of Health is warning us to stay away from it. Don't touch it. Don't walk in it. Don't swim in it. Don't taste it, because it is not clean.
So, Amoy Harriet, our producer here on Lead Story, ending that report from Content Manchester. It's a situation that we are continuing to monitor. As the experts say, the water continues to rise, and so that's the situation that we are monitoring. For now, though, we are seconds away from halftime in this top of the table clash. It's 1 minute in time added on. We're in 45 minutes now, so we're in time added on at the end of the first half. Of course, if Jamaica are to do the business, they will have to do it in the next 45 minutes in the second half, and the fans here are a little bit anxious. They are on edge. I am looking around, people are moving. I'm seeing the JDF soldiers as well, keeping the safety and the peace and the security here on the grounds of the Manning School. I'm seeing as well the representatives from the MAC squad security team also here. Everyone, though, they are glued to the big screen here that CVM TV is providing the viewing on, and it's now halftime. It's 0-0. It's a game that Jamaica must win to qualify right now, tonight, for the World Cup. Now, to get a quick feedback, I'm just going to invite Anne-Marie Patrick, who is a fan watching so far. What has it been like for you watching this game tonight, Anne-Marie?
Well, firstly, thank you, CVM, for being here in Westmoreland. This is therapy. Honestly, I do follow football to an extent, but when I heard that this was coming, I had my kids with me. I'm still going to work, but for us, it was such a difference. It was just a change. Therapy.
I mean, therapy is obviously in relation to the devastating effects of Hurricane Melissa. How has that been for you personally, Anne-Marie?
From a personal note of damage, I am grateful, but I'm a woman of community. And when I see the devastation around me, the displacement, it breaks my heart completely. But then there are moments like these, and there have been a few moments like these that really remind me of the spirit of community and the fact that as Jamaicans, we are truly resilient and we will find the best out of every situation. So heartbreaking, but there is hope.
There is hope. That's a positive note on which to end. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on Lead Story. Anne-Marie, let's get a quick word then from a few of our other supporters. Come forward. This man is a local promoter here, a big figure here in Savlamar, Brooksy. We've been speaking to even before we came back on air. What's the energy like being here for you, seeing the turnout here at Manning School, people watching the football amid everything that has happened with Hurricane Melissa?
It's a pleasure, Stephen. First, I must say it's a pleasure having you people here. Quebec, we feel up and we like it. And it's a nice thing what we're doing to keep the spirit up You understand? But I'm telling you, hurricane, it's not easy. I tell you, make a lot of people cry, a lot of people devastation. You understand? Right now we're planning, we have to go, we like everything was happening, but I'm talking about seeing this hurricane, what I'm saying, over like 300 years, this type of hurricane come Jamaica. We've been worried down here. We've been fretting, you know. I tell you, but I tell you, Jack, see, you know, that come on the roof gone, I still put up 2 family also, you know, in my house. But the back room gone, but we still put up 2 family, you know. It's a, you know, great pleasure, you know, thing to do, for help, you know. Can I say? But coming watching the football, you know, can bring it back with spirit, you know. Yeah.
The Reggae Boys will have to do it in the second half if they are to win this one. What's your prediction?
Yeah, that's what I come to see. Reggae Boy win this game. You understand? Fully support 100. So you say the second half, all out CVN.
All out in the second half. That's the word from Brooks. So let's get to one final word then from our fan. You have the last word tonight. Let's turn this way so our viewers can see you. What's the name and what's your prediction?
Pilot. 2. Yeah.
In favor of who?
Reggae Boys.
You think they can do it?
Yeah, they can.
What has it been like for you being out here since tonight so far at the viewing?
Well, it was great. It was great. From this morning to tonight, it was great. I feel comfortable.
Happy you are enjoying it, and thank you so much for speaking to us here on Lead Story Prime. We are entirely out of time. It's been an honor to bring you this broadcast here from the Manning School in Savlamar, as we thank our final fan there who was watching the match. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Before we go, we just want to remind our viewers, if you are anywhere in Westmoreland in the Savlamar area, you can come on down and join us here at the Manning School, as we will have the second half being shown on our big screen here. And then by my count, hundreds of people are here. It's a family environment, and it's all for you, just to help to lift people's spirit, as Brooksy mentioned when we were speaking with him earlier. And of course, we'll just be bringing up on our screen right now a shot of Sam Sharp Square in Montego Bay, St. James, where we also have a viewing party taking place right now. So if you or anyone you know is in Montego Bay and you want to hop on over to Sam Sharp Square, you can enjoy the viewing there as well. That's all the time we have for you here on Big Story Prime. I'm Giovanni and sending you back to studio.
This special broadcast is brought to you by Quartz and JustBet.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction, 'cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music hits I play, and the people them I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got the spark, don't fit the dark. Shine your lights on.
It's time.
Welcome to High School Pitchside. We have another fascinating episode for you.
More matches, more big clashes.
Let's talk about some of the big rivalries coming up this week.
More of your favorite features.
And trust me, you won't fall asleep in this history class.
And of course, we always want to hear from you.
Hear from your alma mater's players and coaches in Team Talk.
You know we can't leave you out. So send us your messages on social media and watch us react on FanView.
And you know we love a good little debate, right, Gio? We've got you covered all season long on High School Pitchside.
High School Pitchside, your ultimate guide to all things schoolboy football, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.